the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everybody watching DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan. It has now been close to 4 days since the Key Bridge tragedy in Baltimore, and the cleanup of the wreckage in the river is just getting started. Now, one of the largest cranes on the eastern seaboard arrived to Baltimore this morning to help. The crane can lift about 1,000 tons. Now, to put it into perspective, the Dali cargo ship is 95,000 tons and almost as long as the Eiffel Tower, and the Key Bridge, keep in mind, is sitting on top of it. And tonight, DC News Now's Tosin Fikile joining us live in studio. And Tosin, we know the U.S. Navy is providing 3 more heavy lift cranes to come in, and they're starting right away.
That's right, and 2 of those heavy lift cranes are already here in Baltimore. That is according to Governor Wes Moore. 1 crane gets here tonight. The 4th crane arrives on Monday. So let's show you what that crane looks like. Now, one of these cranes is called the Chesapeake 1000, and officials say it can lift about 1,000 tons. And getting these cranes here is part of officials' goal on the road to opening that port back up. Now, Governor Moore says he's focused on 4 things: recovery, clearing the channel and opening the port, the people impacted, including the family, and rebuilding the Key Bridge. Now, when it comes to recovery, divers' operations were suspended because of unsafe water conditions. Officials are stressing the closure of the Port of Baltimore is a major impact on both Maryland's economy and the nation's economy. But clearing debris and opening the channel will be a complex operation.
The big part, and one of the challenges, is that the Key Bridge, which sits on top of the vessel right now, that weight is somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 tons. So our team needs to cut that truss into sections in a safe, in a responsible, and in an efficient way before it can lift those pieces out of the water.
Now, in the next few weeks, there will be 7 floating cranes, 10 tugboats, 10 tugs, 9 barges, and 8 salvage vessels, and 5 Coast Guard boats in the water. Now, as for the cost and timeline to rebuild the bridge, Chris, that's really unknown, but some experts say it could be anywhere from 18 months to several years to rebuild. And the cost, experts say, could be at least $400 million. And Chris, coming up in the next half hour, I'll tell you about how the governor is hoping a new legislation will help some families impacted by the bridge collapse.
All right, Tosin, so much work to do. Thanks. Meanwhile, President Biden telling reporters he'll visit Baltimore next week alongside Governor Wes Moore. And as we've been talking about, he says the federal government will foot the entire bill to rebuild, starting with that $60 million in federal relief. And today, Maryland construction workers gathered with immigration advocacy group CASA to mourn the lives lost in the collapse. The workers talked about the dangers of the job and the work of immigrants that often goes unnoticed. Darwin Orlando Lopez from Honduras has called Maryland home for more than 2 decades. He works in construction, remodeling homes and offices.
I have faced a lot of injustice with low wages.
No me pagan como lo exige la ley.
They are not following the law when they are paying me.
En mi trabajo corro peligro.
In my work as a construction worker, I face danger.
Me arriesgo para asegurar ingresos para mi familia.
But I risk my life to ensure income and economic growth for my family.
Well, coming up in our next half hour, we'll have another update from Tosin Fikile. We'll also talk about some of the environmental concerns from the disaster as the cleanup gets underway. But first, let's get a first check on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. And Janessa, Easter weekend, it'll be wet, but hopefully not a washout.
No, not by any means across the DMV. We are going to see another round of rain going into tomorrow afternoon. We'll dry out for your Easter, and then Easter evening, we'll start to see another change in our weather pattern. I know it's been very up and down. What I cannot give you is calm winds. The winds have been very blustery, and they're going to continue to rev up tomorrow. At this point, we're seeing a slight break of sustained winds coming out of the north and west, 10 to 15 miles per hour. They're the heaviest out towards Loudoun County into Frederick as well. And then really we've been dealing with gusts that have been up to about 40 miles per hour this afternoon. That wind advisory is going to kind of dissipate out towards Woodstock and Luray, and it's farther to our west. There's a good chance they go back into effect by tomorrow afternoon across many areas of Fairfax County, Loudoun County, into Winchester, as well as we really kind of meet that criteria range. Mostly clear for tonight, folks. And even as you're starting off your day tomorrow, temperatures upper 30s to middle 40s in a lot of spots with winds on the calm side. And then throughout the day, the front starts to come through, and that's going to provide us our next wave of rain. We'll talk about the timing on this rain and how much coming up. Chris?
Okay, Janessa, thanks. We'll see you then. And developing at 9 in the district, police arrested 3 teenage girls for murdering a man last year. Police say a 12-year-old girl was shot in the leg just hours before she was taken into custody today. She was shot in the Brightwood neighborhood near Peabody and 5th Streets in Northwest. Back on October 17th, the teens allegedly beat 64-year-old Reggie Brown to death. Medical examiner says he died of blunt force trauma. All 3 girls are now facing murder charges.
It shocks me as it should shock everybody very deeply. Like, imagine this being your children, this being your son or your daughter involved in a killing of someone else, and then that person being killed. No, that shouldn't be happening to anybody, but even less to children.
And police say the case does remain under investigation tonight. Meanwhile, D.C. police also looking for 2 suspects involved in a deadly shooting of a well-known D.C. rapper. Police say the shooting happened during an armed robbery of a marijuana dispensary in the Brightwood Park neighborhood in Northwest. D.C. News Now's Daniel Hamburg spoke with a fellow rapper and friend who knew him well.
The robbery happened on Wednesday afternoon just before 3 p.m. at Hotbox Uptown Dispensary here along Georgia Avenue. Police say 2 suspects went inside demanding property and money. In the process, 41-year-old Philip Prendergast of Silver Spring was shot and killed.
This is something that you would never imagine would happen to somebody like Phil.
You can see in surveillance video what appears to be 2 men with their guns drawn enter the dispensary. Police say the victims complied with demands, but 1 shot was fired, killing Philip Prendergast, known as rapper Phil DeFuture.
Why you have to kill him? Why you couldn't spare his life? Because a life is way more important than anything that was in that store. And I'm sure Phil knew that.
His longtime friend, rapper Light Show from Southeast, says Phil was a local legend.
Phil was genuinely one of the most kind-hearted, supportive, loyal, solid people I've ever met in my life.
One of the dispensary owners called the incident tragic, saying Phil was more than an employee, he was family.
And to lose one of our local legends like that is disheartening for sure.
Light Show wants people to think of others before themselves.
It's senseless. Like, I just wish people could like humanize situations and not just think about what they're trying to get in that moment or what they feel like they need.
D.C. police offers a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to an arrest and conviction. If you have any information, call D.C. Police. In Northwest, Daniel Hamburg, D.C. News Now.
All right, in national news tonight, President Biden campaign events are continuing to draw protesters calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and more humanitarian aid to Palestinians. Our White House correspondent, Maddie Beer-Temple, reports on the latest disruptions and how the president is responding.
Protesters keep showing up to President Biden's events, trying to pressure him to call for a ceasefire and to stop U.S. aid to Israel as it tries to defeat Hamas. Pro-Palestine protesters shouted outside President Biden's New York City fundraiser Thursday. The protests for a ceasefire in Gaza and against U.S. support of Israel have followed the president on the campaign trail. Earlier this week, demonstrators interrupted a speech he was making about health care. The president seemed to side with protesters as they were being taken out of the room.
They have a point. We need to get a lot more care into Gaza.
Protests are also happening at the ballot box. In the Michigan Democratic primary in February, more than 100,000 people voted for uncommitted to protest the U.S. policy.
And the pressure is working.
Edward Mitchell with the Council on American Islamic Relations says he's confident the protests will continue until U.S. policy changes.
The president stops sending the weapons, Netanyahu Netanyahu cannot continue the genocide.
The Gaza Health Ministry says more than 30,000 Palestinians have died since the war began. The U.S. blames Hamas.
They precipitated the conflict, and they continue to hide behind civilians.
White House officials say Hamas's October terrorist attack started the war, and it won't end without a hostage release. Republican Senator Marco Rubio told ABC News the president finds himself in a difficult position.
He's trying to have it both ways, still stick with Israel to some extent, but also do things that signal to these people and try to appease them.
An Israeli delegation is expected to be in Washington sometime next week to meet with U.S. officials. Reporting in Washington, I'm Maddie Beer Temple.